Hey everybody. So normally we multi-stream to Facebook at the same time. So I'm just going to hop over to Facebook and let them all know that we're just going to be on YouTube today.
Oh, really?
Because Facebook doesn't seem to want to let us link up to it. So Mum's just going to sit down. I'm just welcoming you all. She's just making some noise here. She's pushing the table. So welcome everybody. So today was a really extraordinary day because we went up the tour today with some beautiful ceremonies that was happening. We anchored in, and that's really the point today. We anchored in some really strong light. And we did a beautiful ceremony with some other beautiful beloveds.
Hi,
So I'm just going to quickly check that the live is happening. Yeah, so Sally's just going into trance now.
Hi, I'm Jerome.
My video keeps auto-playing. Let me just hopping over to the Chung Fu channel. Yep, seems that we are live. So Sally's just... Yep. Something on my lip there. Yeah, so we had quite an amazing deep ceremony up the Tor. A huge grid was made of rose and clear quartz. A massive crystal grid was made to anchor in deep divine connection for the grids and crystalline grids of Earth. And I'm going to be burying a Shungite grid a little bit later, either later or tomorrow. So over these next few days, the whole vibe is to just really ground and really center ourselves. Sally's just putting her Shungite belt on around her, elite Shungite belt. Yeah, Shungite. It's incredible stuff for grounding. Just reminding you that if you do want Shungite, you can get it on my website, jrocker.com, JROKKA.com/crystals. And you can get some Shungite there and other crystals, chakra sets and things like that. But yeah, it's really about grounding all of your higher self energy, all of your guides and helpers, building your altars and seeding in, visioning in the paradise you want to see on Earth. Because this is going to be quite a full-on next few days. We're going to need to really anchor in, buckle down, get that strength like a rock. That's the sentiment, isn't it? To feel like a rock, rock solid, to feel strong, certain in a divine future for us, the light keepers, and calling forward the light armies, the mega beings of light, the archangels and all the big beings to surround Earth. So calling everybody you know and just seeing them seeing many like double spinning pyramidal mosaic mirrors all around the earth. All around the earth. Like covering the earth, mosaic mirrors, protecting, and archangelic beings and angels, deities, gods, goddesses, ascended beings, surrounding earth like that, just really surrounding all of earth with many golden layers of protection. And as the Divine Mother Isa comes in, just feeling yourselves really grounding in.
My beautiful children, I see you. I love you. I call you forward, my beloved. I call you to bring all your power, power of love, power of light, power of beauty, power of truth, the power of your connection to all compassion that pours forth from my heart, that you may never forget. That you may always remember that you are this power. That when you open, you speak the words of love, of light. When you lift up your heart and you remember in each moment my presence within you, this power multiplies, grows, becomes part with all the hearts around you of a great, resilient, resounding and radiant presence upon the earth. It is through you, my beautiful children, that this presence radiates. It is this presence within you that brings forward the divine light to shine. And you know how strong this light is that is already shining, though it may appear invisible to you. You can know how strong it is because of the great effort made by some to pretend it is not there, to pretend it means nothing, has no power. My beautiful children, no being can occlude my light. Know this, and within your heart, be strong, be faithful to your truth, to all that you know, that you experience. Know that there are those who are so closed, who are so lost, and so buried in the lies and confusion. They have forgotten. The lights are not radiating within them. And there are those who, with all their knowledge, still not sufficient, try to shut down your light, to stand in front of you, to hide you, to pretend you're not there, to sweep you aside, who pretend that force is more powerful than love, who achieve such ends as persuading you this is true by manipulating your fear, my beautiful children. For there will be memories within you of pain and suffering, of what has been before. And you will have within you marks of fear, memories that can be awoken and seem real. And yet, the only true reality, my beloved, is the love that is within you, and that is eternal, is the very essence of your being. Be strong. Be clear. You know the truth. Do not turn your back, my beautiful children, on this beautiful creation. For with you, together, as one being, we are bringing back the full power of life itself. Within you, each and every one, and deep into the earth, as we bring our light to shine. Stand strong, open your hearts wide, receive the energy and power that is divine love pouring for you, cascading from the source within you, to fill your heart with clarity and love and light. This earth is for you to come forward, to manifest the divine plan from my heart through yours into form. I love you, most beautiful ones.
Thank you.
I bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also. Yes. Oh. Yes. Oh.
Peace.
Greetings, beloved.
Peace.
Greetings to you all. Welcome. Blessings and peace.
Blessings and peace.
May the living spirit of the warriors of the light come forward into each and every one of you, bringing the power and presence, illumination of your higher self to enter your mind and bring you positivity of thought and clarity of perception, that you may see through deception and lies, that you may know in your body the simplicity of the divine love that upholds and sustains all of life, not just here upon the earth, but everywhere, throughout the universe, throughout this cosmos, this creation, and worlds and worlds and worlds within. There is a unifying power, a force of love, so powerful that creates all that is, beloved. Imagine that. And draw it into you. Breathe it in. Know that you are one with this power, this love, this force of life and brilliance. Understand that here upon the earth, in this third dimension, the presence of the light is very strong at this time. And so is the presence of opposition to the light. For at this time, The earth and you all are making big movements of evolution. You are liberating yourselves from what has been a condition of disempowerment or even powerlessness, or a forgetting or a disconnection from the source of your being, the divine, the heart of God is God. That for each of you, this journey has taken many lifetimes to come to this point where everything that your heart tells you leads you to understand much that has been before, leads you to draw towards you the power to transform, the creation power within you, to draw it forward from within into manifestation, into appearance. And so we say to you at this time that each of you is like a crystal, a light on a grid. You are the grid. And whether or not you know it, there is always another soul connecting with you on this grid of light, whether here in this physical dimension or in fourth, fifth, or sixth dimensional presence. You're never alone. You always have a reflection working with you inside and sometimes outside. Because sometimes you create that. You work with others. You manifest. And that being will be somewhere in the world, vibrating, resonating, balancing your energy. Because above all, we want to work with the earth and you all as one power, one work, one unified application of wisdom, of high energy magic, of light. Above all at this time, you who are the light warriors who listen to Chongfu and other ascended beings, who know the vibration that you wish to manifest and find those energies in your teachers, in the healers, in your beloveds, in your relations, you have this power to carry that light exactly in that crystalline way that we also understand the grids have to be made. So crystals are holding that power in a very deep and long hold through eons of time. And as they come towards the surface, into the hands and into the lives and environments of the human beings at this time, powers are being transferred to you who use them. And once you understand how crystals hold the light and how you can hold the crystals that hold the light, and how then you realize it's then possible for you to also initiate others in that crystalline light. And as you speak to others or share your experiences, others awaken. And the crystalline beings are really assisting this at this time. And the Akashic record keepers reminding women and men, girls and boys all over the world, reminding them why they came. You came to be that holding light. And it matters more than perhaps you can possibly imagine. Your mindset, your total confidence, the power in you that will keep getting tested, will keep getting punched, pushed, kicked, covered over. Attempts will always be made to subtly bring you off that shine, bring you just off your effective, powerful radiance. Diminish your energy. Watch yourself in the day. Watch yourself listening to news, listening to somebody saying something negative, feeling yourself reacting to some knowledge that may seem dark and difficult and threatening and overpowering and overwhelming and confusing. And watch yourself. Notice, oh, I'm feeling depleted. Oh, understand that this is happening in the subconscious. Your mind may be fine. You may not be conscious of feeling any difficulties. You will only know by literally seeing your energy go down, like as though it drains from a hole inside you, just empties out without you wanting it to. Why does that happen? Because all of this journey is about you getting in touch with that deep part of yourself that can hold the light. It's not a superficial part. It's not in the mind. It's not, oh, that'll be a nice thing to do. It's not in the sort of playtime, if you like. It's not for entertainment. It's not a pastime. It is the presence. It's a state of being. It's a complete and utter, not just belief or even just faith. It is a being, a beingness of those principles within you, of the fact of your essence being divine, of the fact of who you are and why you're here, to carry that divine light, which is not separate from you and can only shine through real heart presence. And so all the time it's teaching you, if you care, to observe. Because seeing yourself, understanding your own being is in fact a big challenge, a long journey, which can be accelerated or the journey shortened by giving yourself as much attention as you would give to a subject you are trying to take a degree in, and then a master's, and then something, as it were, considered higher or deeper than that. You are the subject of your own study to find out how you can shine more, how you can be stronger in your conviction regarding love being the center. Love being, in fact, the only really important study for you. How can you love? What is love? What is love to you? And how do you bring it in and bring it through? And also being receptive to the love that comes from the inside, and that ultimately, as you share the love, you need to be better and better at healing the effects of the human wounds of love, opening to it again, journeying with it deeply again, where perhaps at some point you have felt to give up, to shut yourself away perhaps. That happens when there is a lot of pain in some relationships where you decided not to stay together, but perhaps also there has been trauma in that, and it can be in this life or another that you carry it. So making that cosmic grid, well, in a sense, it's already made, and you are grounding it. And as you walk across the earth from location to location, be aware you are that point of light, as the crystals are where you have placed them. You are constantly changing the shape, the formation, and the power of the grid of light formed by all the souls holding that light upon the earth. Try not to get too distracted away from this knowledge and this determination to radiate that light. Because it is easy at this present time to be thrown completely off your track, to forget who you are, what you're doing here, to forget and to start unconsciously transmitting the opposite: doubt, fear, worry, anxiety. Very understandable, but not at all useful. And so those of you who've worked with me for a long time know that I always do encourage you, however, to find those places of negativity. It's as if to say, unless you're in touch with them, you cannot bring your magic and alchemy to them. You might take a pot shot from high up in your being. Oh, I can see there's a sort of part of me somewhere over there. I don't want to pay attention. Or just sweep it to the back. But those parts of you that require healing, require recognition, love, compassion. What happens if you sweep them under the carpet or push them back is they get stronger. Because those parts of you know there are jewels, there are treasures inside those so-called negative experiences and expressions. And there is no part of you that should not be on this grid of light. The light in you is way stronger than these pockets of confusion, overwhelm, darkness, pain. But the problem usually is that you have never really known how to pay them attention, these places of pain and darkness, without getting sucked in, without becoming them again, without rerunning past traumas, because that is the unconscious that leads you to reenact trauma, difficulty, pain, and suffering so that you can remember and make the choice to process it, heal it, and let it go. So when you are anchoring the light, of course, if there's a blockage where you literally need to anchor it in the root center, you will feel, I can't do this today, I'll have to do it another day, and that will be quite authentic, and that's right. There's no one pressurizing you or pushing you. You need to always take it in your stride. Because when you push against something, of course, well, that something pushes back. Because it is indeed a living, intelligent universe. And when that pushing back happens, that's when you get your chance to prove that you mean it. That you are arriving with your light, whatever the opposition, whatever pushes back on you or tries to cover you over, hide you, stop you speaking. So, beloveds, today you are a great battery of light, as you always are. And I have others attuning with me today who I have brought forward from my dimension, working with me. And especially many, many solar beings working with me, and therefore working with you. Some of these are solar beings and some are solar deities who know how much the light of the sun can get manipulated, and who are helping those who need to awaken and bring through their cosmic source connection. So with this present time, you know that there has been an eclipse, a full eclipse of the sun. And this also denotes much that is going on within the cosmos. Of course, it depends where you stand in relation to the sun, and there are always those standing radiant in the full solar presence and emanating that energy and power to you. So within yourself, each and every one, try to hear my words as a description also of what is going on inside you, that sun, that shines anyway, your spirit, that shines through all the various trials and tribulations, tests and initiations of your life. Just breathe into the fact that you personally have access to this solar light. Oh yes, it's true that it is for many billions of beings. Human beings, animal, bird, water beings, all beings become equal under the light of the sun, receiving it. And all beings decide to what extent they can bring through that light and shine it with great power around themselves. And I can see here, most definitely, warriors of the light coming forward, understanding well what I mean. Many of you who may come on here later, I have also worked with you very personally, and especially to bring you past the fear and into connection with the anger and the grief that lays deep within. So there is working as an individual, there is working as a family, there is working as community, as nations, and as the whole of the human race. Aspects of you do all these things. Every time you meditate, you are bringing light to that particular place where you are. It might be in different places in your home, it might be all around the world, or it might be always in the same place. If you sit in the vehicle's chair here, you'll get a pretty much instant download. If you sit in the chair where you normally meditate, again, you will receive from Source what you have built there. You are the creator, and you have the power to hold this grid of light, both close around you and stretching far afield, because there is no distance in the worlds of light. And so when shungite is placed and crystals up, well, of course they already are deep within the earth, and so is the shungite. But when you stretch to place the crystals where they have not been on the surface of the earth, so bringing the crystals up to the surface of the earth has a particular function. And although there are those who worry about that, do not worry. There's so much crystal within the earth, and the earth is very happy for human beings to bring this grid, their connection, the crystals that are in their possession, in their homes. This makes further points on the grid of light. And so you may have noticed at this time some incrementation of dark forces coming together, both on the inside and the outside. But what I want you to visualize, and I want Jerome to speak of the geography of the place in the south of this country, which is called, is it correct, St. Michael's Mount?
Yeah.
St. Michael's Mount. St. Michael's Mount. And it is where the Michael Mary ley line passes through to come into this country. And please observe and understand.
St. Michael's Mount is a tidal island in Mounts Bay, Cornwall, United Kingdom.
That's right. And it is where that ley line is anchored. It's anchored there. It's also anchored, of course, in the many places you all know throughout the world. And ley lines all connect. You could say they are the spiritual arteries of the earth through which the lifeblood passes and the old blood also passes. And I want you to think that old blood is passing away from that mount and new divine light is pouring in. And imagine many world leaders there. They carry burdens and they are not free. They are not liberated souls. They are under a type of tight grip of dark forces. So understand, beloveds, as you send light, an angelic presence, an archangelic presence to surround this island, to come close. In your mind's eye, see pathways of light going right onto the island from the sixth dimension, the angelic realms, the Akashic realms. Use your powers of visualization to just see the light pouring in, despite all resistance and attempts to block it. Just see it pouring in. Do not worry about any outcomes. Just see it pouring in. See the angels displayed around that whole location at the south of this island. Take a deep breath. And imagine all the darkness in that island draining away into the earth and into the sea, and all the lights pouring through and pushing that darkness out and down into the earth where it is alchemized and transmuted. Take another breath. See that light pouring in. Golden, abundant, divine presence, angelic presence surrounding this small island and the south coast of this country. Breathing deep and visualizing that that light pushes out dark forces that travel deep into the earth to be absorbed, dissolved, transformed. And one last time, beloved ones, opening up your hearts, breathing deep. Your mind's eye seeing luminous beings close in, so close that their bodies of light touch the buildings. They can enter in to places, gathering places where there are 2s and 3s and 10s and 20s and hundreds of beings. And affirm in your mind's eye that this golden light coming in is so powerful. It sweeps before it old dead matter, old paradigms and realities, old and overpowering power over thoughts and concepts, pushing them down into the ground, where all ancient life forms are transmuted in order to make the power of new life. Taking big, deep breaths. And feel that angelic grid of light which has already taken up position very close, layers and layers of beings, transmitting lights and love into all who are involved in this gathering. And feel how after the eclipse, the sun comes even stronger. Whether visible or not, the rays are stronger and issue forth with great power. And feel that light that you are creating and the angels and archangels are creating, radiating out across the entire grid of light, across the entire earth, all around the earth, connecting. And lights is also coming up out of the earth. The beings, both elemental and deities, remembering this purpose. The purpose to reconnect all beings. Deep into the earth, to anchor the lights. Your light. Imagine it's now going down. You, wherever you are now, you are a point of reference on the grid of light. And if you move and you go somewhere else, that is beautiful, because it's spreading the lights and it's creating another part of the grid, and it's in constant movement, and you find yourself walking particular lines of connection in your life because you have that part that is yours, that you are responsible for. Sometimes you journey with it, sometimes you're very still with it. It's all perfect because you have your allies also working with you deep inside the elements of earth, air, fire, water, the dragons, who come forward in times when there is great power needed, especially transformation power. And so as you see the light going into the earth, you see the dragons come and they consume the unseemly dark matter. But this is their work. And just as that grid of light spreads across the earth and awakens the earth, so the dragons rise. And those who connect to the stars, who are the air dragons, they are weaving the next dimensions, the higher frequencies of light, and also clearing the ethers of damaging, harmful, and negative thought forms. And as the earth evolves, she is always cleansing, flowing, and the waters, so important. The water dragons rising. You have seen them in the waves moving. And there is so much emotion within humanity that needs cleansing, purification, terror, disempowerment, fear, rage. So much. These water dragons are working very hard with you all. And then the solar lords and deities and the fire dragons who come with them. And fierce they are at times of transformation. And at this time, where the vast solar light is shining so strongly, some of that light is fierce fire, and you have seen it burn. It is strong, and the fire dragons are strong. But do not confuse some of the fire events and think that is the work of the dragons, for no, it is not. These are benign dragon beings working with the solar lords and deities, consuming the darkness, consuming the fear. And so feel, beloved ones, that you have this extraordinary grid of light that involves each of you as you walk, as you move in your life. You're taking, stretching the grid. You are bringing your humanity and the light through your humanity to heal the earth. Be strong. Anchor that light wherever you are. Understand, when you walk, you will be walking along one of those pathways that is made by the grid, both here in Avalon, in your home, everywhere across the earth, and also in the crystalline dimension, because everything that you do on earth is mirrored in the crystalline dimension, in the Akashic records. There is not a single action or thought or emotion that is not significant, though you may think so. You may think, oh, I'm having downtime now. I'm just not going to think about anything. And yet you may well find that in that time, when you let go, in fact, is very significant, because in letting go, you allow your higher self to come in, to bring you inspiration from that other part of your being, the divine part. So, beloved ones, before I do a final meditation with you, I just want to see if there are questions, Jerome, if you wish to field any questions for now, and then I will do a further meditation at the end.
Yeah, just reminding people the potency of Shungite in these times, especially when grounding in the solar light, divine rays.
That is right.
Okay. Okay. Well.
And Shungite also activates your lower centers in a very special way to be able to ground the light yourself as well.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
We did a ceremony with about there was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 9 of us. We did a ceremony by the Eggstone on the tour at 11 a.m.
Yes, I saw it. Yes, indeed.
From the Ascended Master's point of view, what did that ceremony look like? We sent a lot of light energy to St. Michael's Mount. I'm just wondering what you saw and what the beings saw there.
So all the archangels were connected with you. It's interesting. That's a very sacred number, 9. No, it's there are others, but this one is very potent and very energy efficient. So it creates a very strong figure, the 9. So you have the 8, and then you have the 9. The 9 is, as you could say, the 9 is the center. And so this emanation that you have brought out has brought archangelic presence in. This presence is already being invoked by many people across the world. So coming especially to your circle was the Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
This being is very strong in your location. Is there this vast presence? I try to explain sometimes about how the angelic beings appear in the worlds of light, although they have been depicted in a sense as more human. Yes, they can embody into human-like presence, but they are in fact these vast beings, multiple beings of light. What I mean by that is that which is referred to as the Archangel Michael is many, many beings. It is a composite, vast oversoul that is referred to. That is why also you understand that the archangels, they are being these vast, very complex beings. They bring such a presence to all beings. When you call to the archangelic presence, you have many layers of angelic beings who will come all the way, some into the physical, others will remain, you could say, linked, just like we are creating this grid of light to link each other across the physical earth. The angelic beings, they are, you could say, connected through their bodies of light, and they connect all the way to the divine source. So what I saw, beloved, was a movement of this vast presence that came over the group, maybe about 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in to you starting and calling. The presence came in. It came, you could say, to collect the light, to collect the light and to connect with each and every one. And I'm sure everyone felt very inspired by your ceremony, because this was a two-way, so bringing energy to you and of course receiving the energy and directing the energy which you were very specifically sending to St. Michael's Mount. And that is what I've also done today, is gathered all of your powers and visualizations, and again incremented this light that is being displayed around St. Michael's Mount, which is actually creating quite a pressure inside some of the beings who are, well, shall we say, resistant to that light. And so that has really helped to make very sure that the security, and I mean not what they mean by security, I mean spiritual security, that the ideas, some of them will be blocked. Some ideas which are not going to further or benefit any beings upon your planet. Some of those ideas will be blocked. Others will be disabled. And I'm not saying that there will be a positive turnaround, but there will be some changes that for you all will be a matter for, well, certainly a pleasure or sort of celebration, though this may not appear in the first instance, but there are some deep changes going on. Peace.
Peace. A question from Sacred Love Healing, Charlie Wilson. Chung Fu, can you say something about climate change? How much is it natural and how much man-made, and whether the real dangers are exaggerated or it's a genuine threat to our survival?
There has always been climate change, as I'm sure you realize, beloved, throughout the eons, some of it very intense. The earth goes through climatic change all the time, throughout eons and eons, even when human beings were not present upon the planet. So obviously that is a truth that's continuing, and in fact not at all moving you towards hotter climate, but rather colder climate. So that's what the scientists they're beginning to have to admit this, although the attempt to control the world by making human beings responsible for what is a much greater phenomenon, we can say a galactic even, something going on within the whole of the galaxy and in this part of the galaxy. Obviously, you understand that it is a very mobile universe. It is not a static. It's not just a picture and that's it, boom. No, it's constant change, constant evolution. And no, absolutely not that human beings are responsible somehow for this again erroneous idea of it just getting hotter and hotter. This is not, in fact, true from what Chung Fu sees. What I see is that much, as you know, I've described it quite a lot to you, a much more intergalactic situation where certain entities and species and races that have been allowed to feed here. A bit like if you put your flock on a field and then you work out that, well, actually that herd, of sheep, or, they've eaten all that grass, we need to move them on. They've done what they were supposed to do on that patch, we need to move them on. And that's what's happening, that there has been an evolutionary relationship with certain beings, other races from other dimensions, who have been, you could say, allowed. There was an arrangement, there was an exchange, but it's gone completely into imbalance. The contract was not fulfilled, if you like to put it that way, on their side. And now the lords and the goddesses of this dimension have come back, you could say, to defend the earth and to make sure that that arrangement is terminated. So that is what people are feeling, that's so kind of confusing, because one of the things they're able to do is manipulate the climate, is to use technology in ways that, well, that was the whole idea. They were going to teach the benign beings, and what has happened is that a lot of malign beings have gotten into power. So this is the terminal stages of them being moved on, which is why I asked you to send all that light to the mount, because this is one of the attempts to further their agenda, which will be furthered to some extent. But also, remember, your power is great if you get together and if you do it, as now at significant points of openings that are happening at various times. And so, yes, beloved, the climate is changing. Is it dangerous to human life? Well, climate is always dangerous to human life to some extent, the extremes of it. And yes, there will be some rising sea levels in places, and there will be a heating up in some places. But if you look at the general situation, you will notice that it's not really about it getting hotter and hotter. In fact, this is going to become more and more clear. And so again, these lies that are told to you, beloved ones, you do have to observe for yourself, research for yourself, and find out the truth. Peace. It's not the fault of humanity. Climate change. Peace.
Peace. Anna Harris. How to move from anger to forgiveness. I have a deep wound from the father I have been unconsciously avoiding. Abuse and betrayal, and then premature death. I am so angry and afraid of confronting it.
The truth is, you are confronting it, beloved, just by speaking about it. You've already begun. Breathe into it. Understand you are allowed every emotion. There is no value in suppressing. I understand you do know that. And so in whatever way that you can find sanctity, safety, of holding space, that can be on your own, a space where you feel free to really give vent. You know, this is a phrase that means something very particular, giving vent. You know, vent is like the wind. It's flowing, it's pushing through you, it's venting, it's allowing the air to get to those hurt places. And yes, absolutely, of course you're afraid of them. There's a lot of power in that rage, in those places of pain. But you have the greatest clue ever, which is the fear. The fear is, you could say, your saving grace. It shows you where to go. You have to breathe into it. Feel it as much as you can. Just breathe and feel and be. Be very present. Really let your body shake. Just let each emotion be what it is. That the fear is the fear. Find ways to shake and make sound. A lot of sound. Sounds that you never could make, I'm sure, in the situation when you were smaller and were being abused. And even now, that small part of you, I can see, struggles to express. Partly because, well, as you say, premature death. You see, the thing is, you have to find your way to connect with that soul. And that's often why I suggest the Ho'oponopono, to work with it, because it brings souls closer together. Peace, beloved.
Okay, that's all we have time for today.
Oh, all right.
And perhaps we can do just a final little...
We're going to do a little, yes. So once again, just being here together, remembering there are others, and even if they're not here, there will be others tuning to this, and that there is a place where when you do these kinds of visualizations and meditations, you're going into cosmic time. That means the deeper present, that is the now of nows, and that as you work here in this deep place, beings come even later and they can use this energy for the purpose that you design it. It is your energy, your precious gift. So as you lift up your hearts and once again feel the light coming in, feel your connection one with another, with Chang Fu, with the vehicle, with Jerome. Wherever you are upon the earth, see the light connecting you. Know that you are just there in the etheric here. In the world of light, there is no distance between you all, and you stand as a powerful circle of beings. Beneath you in the earth, a dragon presence is working with you. They're also around you in the air. They're in the waters, and they are in the sun and in the fire. And when you bring that old dead energy that's trying to impose its dark purpose upon you, when you bring it out, when you see it pouring down, evacuating out of bodies, hearts, and minds, draining away, feel how the dragons are working with you. They're in the waters, they're fishing for it. They're in the air, they're catching it and swirling it around. And when it's in the earth, they are literally eating it, alchemizing it, and changing it. And feel the power of the solar dragons, the fire dragons, and how they bring this light to burn through illusion, to burn through old, dark, and destroying paradigms of destruction. Feel how that fire energy, that solar cosmic light is just so strong. It is filling beings up so that they cannot remember the darkness. They are just filled with the light, though they might not know what that is in this moment. Penetrating deep into bodies, hearts, and minds gathered there, and giving thanks. Giving thanks within yourself for the Christ light shining and the source of creation. Understanding that all is known to the divine heart of God is God. Knowing this radiance pouring in, coming through you, is seeding the new paradigm into the earth through your feet, and holding this grid of light throughout this time that they are gathered there. You feel and cast your mind now and then to this grid of light that you have laid, that is emanating, radiating, calling angelic presence and archangelic presence to hold it strongly, to surround that place. With the vast archangelic presence. Blessings and peace, dear ones. May the living spirit that is within all things replenish your mind with radiant light in every moment. Bring you the power of seeing the truth. Fill your heart with personal power of love and joy, of compassion, peace, resilience, total faith in the divine presence here with you. Fill your body with good health, strength, well-being, deep soul connection, and deep understanding that is beyond the mind. Blessings and peace to you all.
Blessings and peace. Matara to tare tori